Pregame.com.
Pregame.tv, breaking down football Friday night under the lights. We're going to be talking New England, Tampa Bay. It's great to have football. I'm here with Vegas runner. I am Steve Fezzik. Brian Leonard has the week off. Brian is celebrating.
On the strip.
He is celebrating his massive baseball run, and he says, you losers go talk about football.
I'm going to kick back at the swimming pool.
I've won like 9 out of 11 or whatever it is. I'll have to get it from Brian, so good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
He's been hot.
Yeah, he has.
You're always hot, though.
It's a good thing. It could be worse.
Could be. Exactly. How are things? You ready for football?
I'm never more ready. I'm
never more ready.
You know what it is? You kind of say that as a professional bettor. Even as a casual bettor, I think you say that every year because you know you've gained experience. And that's why, as much as I'm into wanting to know long-term results of betting syndicates I follow, professional bettors I follow, at the same time, I understand that the market's constantly evolving. And I know, just like myself, their network of sources gets better. They learn more from month to month, bet to bet, season to season. So I kind of am more of those bettors that when I do gather information, I'm willing to overlook someone that had a bad season in the NFL or college football if I know they probably learned from it. And
or they got the better of it.
Exactly. It didn't fall their way. Exactly.
Which is actually what happened to me last NFL season. So it's a bounce back NFL season for me. And one thing I was going to mention,
that's when you're most dangerous.
Yeah, you're sending me so many sharp things, like a women's tennis, for instance. This is funny. So you gave me a winner, minus 225. The best I can find is minus 245, and I can lay 4. And I'm trying to figure out
the math.
The math of a women's match. Laying 4 games, is that better than laying 245? I wound up just laying the 245.
I did too.
I don't know if the minus 4 got there, but I know you're sending me stuff left and right. And it has 2 things in common. It moves and it wins. So
the exact same thing whenever you send me NFL. That's what I'm saying. You said you had a losing season last year in NFL.
I did.
And this has nothing to do with
although I was
counting anybody or anything like that.
I was 44 and 38 in the Hilton, but in my plays that actually gave out,
exactly,
I wound up.
And I know you bet. I know that. I've known you for years now. I know when you bet, you get respect.
No, I only bet like $100 a game. I was reading that on the internet, that I'm down to betting $100 a game. I'm actually down to 90 a game when I'm playing Cantor's live wagering, because at $100 it flags for approval and the play runs and you get no action.
So I know the work you put in. I mean, for months ago, you were already at work at this stuff. So I won, regardless of whether you won last season, to me is irrelevant. I know you were beating the line moves. I know the games were going your way. As far as the market was moving your way, eventually it was catching up with you. And you did more work this year probably than last year because you did have a negative season.
That's a natural.
To me, that's what I want.
I'll be the first to admit when I'm winning a whole bunch, maybe after this back-to-back LVHs.
Everyone.
I didn't burn the midnight oil as much as I could.
Because you thought you had the system.
And I had a 6-month-old at home, and
I love that.
And I thought I could cut some corners. I'm not cutting corners here, though.
It reminds me of the New Orleans Saints this year. After last year, it's they got a reason to play. You're the Saints of the handicapping world in the NFL this
offense,
year.
not the defense.
Giving you the label.
Interesting game here with Tampa and New England. To set it up, Tampa just got annihilated by the Super Bowl champion Baltimore. New England, boy, Philly's defense looks soft. Hand it off to Ridley, they just pound Philly. And so you get the team off the high in preseason, and now we got the team off the low, Tampa Bay. One interesting thing, these teams play week 3 in preseason. I have an angle on this. Who do you think that helps more, Tampa Bay or New England?
Week 3?
Yeah, they play again in basically a month and a half in a game that counts.
Oh, that they're playing now, you mean?
Well, yeah, they're going to play in 7 weeks.
So, right, who's in the regular season is going to gain more of it?
Which coach right now in this game is going to tank in this game and not
Belichick.
Belichick.
Yeah, that's a given.
Because Belichick's so smart.
He already knows that he's going to see these guys down the road.
Right? I mean,
they're going to see nothing, vanilla all the way.
It's crystal clear to me that the really smart, with it coach, he's not going to give a rat's about this game.
But keep it vanilla.
Whereas Tampa Bay, new coach, Schiano, disappointing season last year, got murdered, press, the local press,
right.
The local radio talk shows, just pounding on him, probably wants to look good, right?
Yeah, he has something that, I mean, we don't have a long history on him. He went 2-2 straight up, 2-2 against the spread last year. Not enough of a sample size to guess
Tiny.
Whether he cares about the preseason or not. But I think you can draw the conclusion that the position he's in, the situation this team is in, he needs to pile up wins no matter when they are.
What would you do if you were the coach?
Exactly.
I would try to look good at
exactly.
preseason, and if I go 7-9, they'll be off my back. But if they're on my back to start, who knows if I survive
exactly. And that's why with him, you could tell, even though he went 2-2 last year, ATS and straight up, I think he wants to instill a winning attitude with his team. And they're younger. Where with the New England, I think everyone was kind of taking a wait-and-see approach because of all the negative press they received leading up to this preseason. But after they lit it up last week, I think everyone's going to, everyone's going to, and the bettors are going to look at it and say, we panicked for nothing. It's the Patriots. And if there's one thing I've learned from you is that sometimes, even though we expect a team to have a premium attached to them, sometimes they're able to exceed expectations, where they not even exceed expectations, but they're an extraordinary team.
Alabama and New England, all they do is cover. RJ keeps saying the power ratings are 2 points too high. Historically, it's like, well, how could they have been if they keep covering numbers? 57%.
Exactly.
But I actually believe, RJ, this year, I do believe that New England is finally overvalued. You know why? Because Brady is 36.
Agree.
I don't think, if he was 33, I think he could throw to a guy named Julian. I think he could, he could bring in what I like to call the armadillo, because I can't pronounce his last name, from the Rams, and they would be fine. But I really think that you're going to see more ground and pound from New England, because they got to keep Brady healthy, and he can't move. And, one thing I was saying about New England, they are one Lee Evans catch away from being 0-3 against Baltimore in the playoffs the last 4 years.
Agree.
They almost lost all 3 times to these guys. So,
what do you think of Tampa as far as last year? I thought offensively this team was a pretty good team. And they have good skill position players. They got good running back.
The running back.
Exactly. They got good wide receivers.
The San Diego wide receivers. The only guy I've ever seen catch a 99-yard pass as a wide receiver and not score.
Exactly.
I've never seen that ever.
You have a quarterback who's in the final year of his rookie contract
year.
So he's going to bring it. Offensively, I think they're good. Defensively, you're looking at a team that was number 1 against the pass, number 1 against the run, worst against the pass. They got exploited last week, giving up 44 points. I think you're going to get a super motivated effort from that defense. When your defense is your Achilles heel one season and all the pressure's on them the next, and week 1 of preseason you give up 44 points, you're not really working on offense that week. You're working on defense. I think New England's going to have some trouble scoring points against this team.
And let's look at quarterback rotations, which are key preseason. And I look Tampa Bay perfectly fine for me. I go over to New England, though. I got Ryan Mallett, who I don't like, and Tim Tebow, who can't complete a pass accurately more than 5 yards. And the key here, if I was a defensive player, I don't go to church every Sunday. So maybe I'm biased. I should, but I don't. I just don't really like Tebow. I think he's a fraud. I don't think he can play at all.
So you didn't get into Tebow?
I just want to clothesline Tebow.
You don't like Tebow?
I don't like. No, probably because he cost me a bet or two along the way. He was so awful when he was with Denver, and then that guy from the Bears.
I was betting him all those weeks.
The guy from the Divinity Strikes. The guy from the Bears. He runs out of bounds as they're running out the clock, and they get the ball. It's like if ever there was a fixed game, that was it. So bottom line, though, I see everything pointing to Belichick keeping it vanilla.
I agree.
Keeping it simple, keeping Brady healthy, and this being Tampa's home run game for preseason. Make it official.
Do it.
We're going to go with the dog. Dogs have been barking. Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 3.5. It's moving to 3. I would grab that 3.5 right now. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well.
Always.
I think great opportunity. And also, if by some reason New England starters get them the lead, live wagering or at halftime, I'd load up some more on Tampa. I really feel strongly Tampa's going to have the edge in the second half in this game as well. But with that 3.5, I don't think you'll go right. I expect Tampa to win the game outright.
High scoring week 1. What do we think?
Yeah, very high scoring week 1. I think I don't think it's an aberration. I think it's a trend. Everyone
will it continue in the regular season, or
yes.
will it continue just in the preseason?
I think it will continue because coaches have learned more and more, it used to be 2nd and 10, you throw an incomplete pass, you hand the ball off and pick up a manageable 3rd down. Now these new coaches have finally figured it out. Hey, I'm going to throw on 2nd and 10. I'm not going to give this away and you even see that in live wagering. When you have 3rd and 8, your chance of getting, or 3rd and 6, again, that first down is like 2 to 1 against. But the second the guy drops back to pass, I know it's more volatile, more variance, they have more than a 50-50 shot to get that first down still. It's like the second they hand the ball off, it's like people can pass post or slamming, no first down, no first down, no first down. And so it shows how ridiculous it is to ever run the ball in that case, unless it's a draw or a reverse or something crazy, you know. So
I like it.
The coaches could learn from the live wagering. And what goes on with
I like it.
So very good. I was on a dog preseason. Stay with us, pregame.tv. We're going to break down another NFL preseason. Just to show you, we don't take all dogs. We may lay some chalk. Stay with us, pregame.tv.